BC Sander, a partner, transaction advisory services at Ernst & Young, joins me now to give us his perspectives. Good morning to you.
Morning. How are you?
It's great to have you on the show. So, looking at the numbers yesterday, what is the implication of having inflation back in double digits?
Well, usually when you have inflation in any economy, it reduces the value of your wealth, especially if the wealth are denominated in monetary terms. So the savings you have in your account can't buy as many goods as it will have bought before the increase in the price level. Of course, investors will have more difficulties in sustaining their profitability. Of course, inflation increases, the cost, unless they're able to pass it on to the final consumers of their goods or services. So investment and even the capital goods will become more expensive. So even capital formation, putting up a warehouse, for instance, rolling in machinery into the place, recruiting staff, etc. So all this, so inflation is never anything that any sensible government wants around, because it reduces the quality of your life. It makes your economic situation a lot more difficult.
So tie it in for us. The GDP has slowed to about 2.82%. February PMI, that's Purchasing Manager Index for manufacturing and non-manufacturing sector, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria, dropped to 45.5 and 44.3 points, respectively.
Yes.
Now, in line with where we have inflation figures, are you worried?
I'm not worried. The way you lay your bed, you're going to lie upon it. You will always have storm in the economy. So when you are unprepared, when you are irresponsible about the way you manage your economy, when you have storm, the effect it will have on you will be severe, unlike nations that organize their affairs a lot better. Take, for instance, the manufacturing sector in this country is a most underdeveloped sector. And we have been at manufacturing for over 60 years, because you have quite a number of factories even before independence. Unfortunately, while other countries are taking their manufacturing to higher maturity by ensuring they increase the value chain in each of the sectors in which they operate, Nigeria is continuing to reverse its own pace of development. And when you look at the Nigerian economy, you have an economy where oil contributes about 10% of the GDP, but represents about 90% of the foreign exchange. And you have an economy where the modern sector, which is the manufacturing sector, is underdeveloped. So you want to wear good dresses, good shoes, you want to drive good cars, just name it. You have to import all these things. So you're not a producing economy. You're not producing what you are consuming. So when you have the kind of shock to the sector that brings in the foreign exchange, which is the oil and gas, with the price, around 10 US dollars to the barrel in October 2014, and it went as low as about $25 sometimes this year. So you have sudden shrink in the foreign exchange. That's the effect it will have.
So now, in the near term, what issues do you think the federal government needs to address?
Interestingly, is in another 2 months' time, we're going to be celebrating 1 year of this regime. So time is of the essence. Take agriculture, for instance, which the government has talked so much about. How long does it take to turn the fortune around in agriculture? It doesn't take much time. But there's a problem with our psyche, with our mindset. And that's the thing we need to address. So because we know what we need to do, but the discipline to get things done, we're just lacking in it. The government has said it's going to restructure the economy. So I don't need to repeat that to the government. But expression of wish is not the same thing as getting things going. You have some funny utterances by some of these legislators. I think this week, one of them said that they are committed to restructuring the economy. And this is the same person who spent about 3 billion naira on buying exotic cars for himself and other officers. 3 billion naira can conveniently cultivate over 10,000 hectares of land, planting rice. And that will give you close to about 20,000 tons of rice within the year. And you can replicate that in so many other areas. Manufacturing, and I think one thing the government should run away from, this issue of the invisible hands controlling the economy. A lot of these pseudo-analysts have been coming, I've seen them even on your station, talking about collapsing the price, the value of naira vis-a-vis dollar, as if that is a magic wand that will just send away all the problems. There's no quick fix to the situation. We created the problem over a number of years.
But if there's no quick fix, at least there should be something. For instance, can the federal government ramp up massive spending in some particular, aspects of the economy to help tame this rising inflation? Don't forget that this is March. March ends in a couple of weeks. And then we have to make sure that the 2016 budget is passed and implementation. I
don't have sympathy for Nigerians. You've had, as the Bible said, in the dream of Pharaoh, which Joseph interpreted, you've had your 7 years of fat cows. You now the 7 years of lean cows. There's no quick fix. And all those funny pseudo-analysts who keep on saying, collapse the price of the value of naira, they're not helping themselves or the nation. The economy has to be restructured, and so far we've had a lot of noise, but no action. I just explained to you the issue about agriculture. How long does it take to turn this country into self-sufficiency in production of agriculture? But go around all these people who are talking of agriculture. What organization, what structures have they put in place to translate the declarations into action and results? Nothing. So the intentions of the government, which has been made known, I don't think anybody needs to redefine that. You don't need rocket science to, determine what needs to be done. But you probably need rocket science to determine how you get Nigerian government to do what they set out to do. A lot of hypocrisy, a lot of lies. Although this government, I believe in the head of state, in his vice president, they are extremely very truthful and trustworthy, unlike a lot of the other guys who are just liars, deceiving and playing on people's intelligence. But if we're going to avert continuation of the serious situation, serious distress and reduction in the value, in the quality of our life, something needs to get done quickly. There is need to translate all these declarations, all these words into actions and results.
This also puts pressure on the Monetary Policy Authority. How do you think they should react to this latest inflation increase?
You see, a couple of years back, about 14 years ago, I delivered a paper. You have to look at the cause of pressure on the dollar-naira exchange. We are not a producing nation. We are idlers. Just mention any of the industries. I mean, the Unilever Group has been in this country for over 50 years. Unfortunately, if you do an analysis of that sector, take for instance the soap that they manufacture. You have a population of around 75 million, and the leading soap manufacturing company still imports the caustic soda. The caustic soda is probably about 55% of the value in the process. So are we a serious nation? So you realize at the end of the day, we are just importing nation. So I don't know what the monetary authorities are going to do. What magic are they going to perform? The dollars that they don't have, what do they manage? It's the people who have caused it. And how have they caused it? You keep on selling your votes to voting some funny characters to rule you. And this is the results. Because people keep on forgetting, you don't talk of economics without talking of politics. The two are interwoven. Economics is simply a theory of how you get things done. It's the politicians who are in government who really get the things done. And so you can't separate the two. So if you, during election, you take 500 naira from a thug in your neighborhood and you vote him in, of course, what result do you expect? He will treat you worse than he has been treating you before, you know. So, monetary authority, I don't see what you want, what magic they want to perform. The controversy, the argument about exchange rate, everything will continue. But if any of the analysis is sincere, you will know that this economy, if it's not restructured, because there will always be a storm, I said it, there will always be a storm in the economy. It's when you are prepared that you are able to absorb the storm and it doesn't hurt you. But the way Nigeria is, we are in a very, very, very bad shape. Imagine all these leakages. In fact, you can say Nigeria has economic Ebola. Look at all the revelations about people, companies not transferring 3 trillion.
So
how much is the total federal government?
So what is Ernst & Young doing as a consultancy service with regards advising?
You are putting me on the spot.
Yes,
you
I have to. Because
you haven't brought Ernst & Young to...
Because you have put Nigeria on the spot. We're analyzing the economic quagmire that we seem to be in. So how, as a business consulting agency, what advice do you have for business executives at this time?
Let me say... as I said earlier on, the government has made declarations on its intention to restructure the economy, the solid minerals, agricultural sector, manufacturing sector. These are very, very sound programs. But I said, and I still repeat, program on its own is not sufficient. You must have the discipline of action. That is to translate those programs into reality. And that's where we are an expert. But we won't force ourselves on any government. Don't forget, it's a free market. So I have a service to sell. If you ask me to come and sell my service to you, I will sell to you. We consult and advise government in all the 155 countries where we operate. You know. So, and we have very sound track record.
But you're not advising the federal government now, or any government for that matter. You're advising other businesses that you consult for who are looking at Nigeria as an emerging market where they want to come and ply their trade. So at this time, is it good to invest or is it good to just stay on the sidelines?
Why not? It's good to invest because you see, in economics you talk of cycles. So you will have a period of boom and then you have a period of depression. But good and well-managed economies ensure that the distance between the trough and the height is not too high, and then it doesn't last for too long, you know. But in the case of Nigeria, we've not been good managers, so we are reaping the bad work we have done. Everybody, you know. So if you say because of the temporary situation we are in, you are not going to invest, you're missing the mark. Okay. In fact, this is even the time to come in and invest.
This is Sandra. We'll have to leave it at that. But thank you so much for coming on the program this morning.